All right, everyone. So I just want to give us a brief overview of our midterm assignment, which we sort of call the dynamic word video or dynamic word poem, just so that you can understand why I have other videos that describe how to put audio into Animate or how to find a song that or a poem that is in public domain. So this assignment is about creating an animation that is timed with something that has words, because most of what you put into it is going to be text. So it can be a song, poem, commercial, old radio hour, whatever it is, that you take a 20 to 30-second chunk of and you create an animation to the words. It's not really a sing-along. And I think the best way I can describe it is to actually show you just an example. Give me 1 second. There it is.
When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no. You just rather watch me fall from a quarter mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all.
All right, so you can hear it fading out there, which just goes to show that this was a clip from a longer song. You know, most songs are 2, 3, 4 minutes. We're not looking for anything nearly that length, and just sort of gently fading it out is totally acceptable. But you can see the things that the person did. They considered the typeface and the size and the color of things, the timing, huge. They didn't really have any filters or effects, but that is one of the options you can use to have things faded and out or have a blur on them. But position was used mostly. Rotation, the rotation and scale weren't animated for the most part, but they were used at least in terms of the composition on that one. So that's what you're looking for. That song was copyright free from a YouTube channel, and I have a video that goes over how to find those kinds of things. But making sure this is the song, poem, whatever it is, the recording itself that you are using is in public domain. That is huge. That is, I will dock you 30% of your grade if you do not do that. So you're going to have to run this by me. Send me a link where you got the thing. Don't send me something saying, oh, I'm going to do this song. Send me the link where you are getting it from that specifies exactly what makes it copyright free, or what you think, where you think the information states that this is in fact legal for you to use in class. So things that we are looking at for this assignment: organization. So our layers and symbols properly named, sorted into folders and everything. And so I have a different project up. It's a Jabberwocky poem, and we can see this person used folders because, each of the verses is a little, they did individual words. Actually, I guess I should show you what this looks like so you know what the heck I'm talking about. So stand by.
'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought.
All right, so a couple notes on that. The character that's in there, the knight, was something he made some for something else in class, because this came later. So you do not have to have an entire articulated character in yours. He just put it in because he had it. So we're going to talk about this more in class, but each word, because it's doing its own thing, needed its own layer. And so that meant that the first verse had quite a few layers, including over here. Mumroth's was all individual letters bouncing around. So putting it into folders, keeping everything organized so that when I go in here, I know what I'm looking at. All the symbols, there's no folders in here. As per usual, the library is a little bit less organized than everything else, but they're all labeled. There's not symbol 43, symbol 44, symbol 45. No, 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 no. even if it's just the letter, because that's what that is. So that's what we name it. But yes, everything labeled. Next step is technical process. Were things being converted properly? Were pivot points being set for animation? So some of these things I can tell just by looking at it. I can tell if the pivot point's being mucked around with. I can tell when there's something wrong with the animation. But some of it is I come in here and I can see in your library if you weren't converting things beforehand when you needed to. So remember, classic and motion tweens need to be converted to symbols before you set anything up. Before you even put a second keyframe in any layer, you need to be converting things. So we're looking at that. Does the animation reflect how the audio sounds, visuals, design? Are you considering all these things that we have up here that we've been slowly learning about over the semester, and we're going to focus on over the next couple of weeks, and combining these things is what we're going to be learning about in class. But like, are those things reflecting what the song sounds like? Right. So I have another example here. Let me find my folder. Where it's an old commercial. So what they've done reflects what that old commercial kind of looks like, or should look like.
It's time to wake up.
Wake up to Tang.
Tang, the happy new breakfast drink you don't squeeze, unfreeze, or refrigerate. Yet it gives your family more of the vitamin C everyone needs every day. In fact, Tang gives you more vitamin C than the finest orange juice, fresh or frozen. More vitamin A, too. And Tang is so much easier to fix. Watch. Ice cold water in a juice glass, plus 1 rounded tablespoon of Tang. Stir, and instantly you have delicious Tang.
All right. Excuse me. So you can see that most of what they did was actually just timing and having things show up, but the design of this looked like it belonged in an old-timey 60s commercial. The color, it's a little bit more modern than that. Obviously, we are in a different year, but it's, are things that sound fast, moving fast on the screen, or are things that sound, lyrical, you know, floating around on the screen, those kinds of things. Also, are things just well composed and just, looking nice? Or is it a little bit rougher around the edges? So, and we don't, polish can look different for different things. One of the examples or a couple examples I'll include online later for you to watch on your own time will be a little bit like derpy looking, but it's intentional. So those are the kinds of things we want to consider as we're going through. But the biggest one, like possibly the biggest one, is timing, because this is the one that you need no prior um, training on or anything. Aesthetics like color and composition, different people come in with different levels of that sort of technical prowess. But timing is just a matter of reworking the animation keys. Timing is a matter of going in here as you're working. There we go. 'Twas brilling and the slithy toves. He didn't just do that the first time and it was perfect, right? He would have needed to sit there and be like, all right, this key needs to be a little bit earlier, and then this key, or sorry, that one needs to be later, this one needs to be earlier. Maybe this whole thing needs to end 1 frame later. It's just a matter of moving your keyframes around. So there's not a lot of technical prowess in that. It's just time and care, which is why I make it kind of the focus of this assignment, because whatever you came into with this class, you should be able to get the timing well done. And so consider that. Also, I say that projects should be around 20 to 30 seconds long. That does depend a little bit on the density of what's happening. I don't remember if we had this talk in this class or not, but basically, you know, how how much are you fitting into 20 seconds versus 30 seconds? One person might have 20 seconds with so much animation, and another person might have 30 seconds where it's a little bit less, because the song has fewer words. These things run at different speeds. So I've got 2 examples that kind of look at that, where one is going to be going by so fast, I don't know if it's going to even record properly on this video. And then the other one is a little bit simpler, so it's longer. All right, so let me make sure I'm actually opening up the right one.
We bop and hippity hop. I'm as happy as I can be. Whoa, boom, boom, and hippity zoom. Love is sweet, love is grand, works one. We bop and hippity hop. I'll never be a millionaire. Whoa, boom, boom, and hippity zoom. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. I don't care.
It's going a little bit broken because I'm trying to record the screen at the same time. But there's like so much going on in that particular song, and so there's just this density of timing and words and things flying around. Compare that with this next charming commercial.
You country cornflakes, you country cornflakes. Oh, they won't will when you pour on milk. Oh, they won't bunch when they are crunch. They're double toasted, double crisp and good. General Mills makes them just the way they should. You country cornflakes, you country cornflakes. From fields of corn, so majestically waving that they won't will when you pour on milk. Double toasted cornflakes made with rice. So buy our cornflakes, you country cornflakes, you country cornflakes. Please buy our cornflakes, you country cornflakes, you country cornflakes, you country cornflakes. They're made from corn.
So on that one, you can see there's a lot of lines where he didn't say all the words and he just had graphics up, right? So he simplified certain things because he wanted to do the whole thing in 60 seconds, which is double what the class or had in mind. So he sort of undensified it. He took away some of the words and made it a little bit simpler so that he could have time to do the whole thing. Although if you notice the cereal box going back and forth is kind of when he ran out of time. Right, so the song itself is as fast, but he put less things into each second, especially as it went on, and that's normal. So different videos, different songs are going to have different amounts of stuff per second, right? So there's different densities. So I say between 20-30 seconds, but between what I've shown you here and what I'm going to post online for you to look at on your own time, it's you're gonna have to kind of judge, like, where does the stanza end? Where does it sound good to end this, and how much do I pack in that it makes sense? That I think I'll get an A or a B. So you can choose seconds as something that's 30 seconds long. If it's only got like 3 sentences and it takes the whole 30 seconds to say them, you're gonna need some flourishes or something. But we're gonna talk more about this in class. I just want to kind of give you couple of examples, a baseline, because you really want to start thinking about what song you're going to use as soon as possible. Send that to me, definitely by next week. Definitely by, what is it, October 2nd. You really want to make sure you're figuring that out as soon as possible so that you can start working on it, because from counting from this week, you'll have 3 weeks to work on it.